What is Robert Redford's net worth and salary? How do you make millions after leaving college? Stay tuned to learn more about the lives of rich people. Hello dear friend, Robert Redford is an American actor, director, producer and environmentalist with a net worth of $200 million. Robert Redford is best known for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Bud, The Candidate and Ordinary People. He is also known as the founder of the Sundance Film Festival. Early life. Charles Robert Redford Jr., better known as Robert Redford, was born in Santa Monica, California on August 18, 1936. His parents were Martha Hart and Charles Robert Redford Sr., an accountant. He has a half-brother from his father's first marriage. His family moved to Van Nuys, Los Angeles, where he attended Van Nuys High School. After graduating in 1954, Redford continued his education at the University of Colorado at Boulder, but dropped out after a year and a half. The reason he left the university was that he began to drink heavily and lost his scholarship as a result. He then traveled around Europe and then moved to New York, where he took classes at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and also took painting classes at the Pratt Institute. Career. Redford began his acting career in New York, working in various theatrical and television roles. He made his Broadway debut as an actor in the 1959 production of Tall Story, then got small roles in productions of The Highest Tree, 1959, and Sunday in New York, 1961. His most successful Broadway appearance was as Elizabeth Ashley's husband in the original cast of Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park, 1963. Beginning in 1960, Redford simultaneously began appearing as a guest star in such television shows as Maverick, 1960, Perry Mason, 1960, Naked City, 1961, Whispering Smith, 1961, Alfred Hitchcock Parents, 1961, The Twilight Zone, 1962, and The Untouchables, 1963, among many others. For his performance in The Voice of Charlie Ponta in 1962, Redford received an Emmy nomination for Best Supporting Actor. After 1963, when he appeared in the ABC medical drama Breaking Point, Redford did not appear on television until 2019. Although he did not actually appear on the show, his appearance and archival voice recordings were used in the HBO drama Watchmen as a fictionalized version of himself in an alternative universe. In 1960, the same year he began appearing on television, Redford made his big screen debut in a small role in The Tall Story. As he began to make a name for himself on Broadway and television, Redford began to get bigger movie roles. He got his second movie role in 1962 in War Hound, followed by The Situation is Hopeless But Not Serious, 1965, and Inside Daisy Clover, 1965. Other films in which he appeared in the 1960s included This Property is Condemned, 1966, The Chase, 1966, Barefoot in the Park, 1967, Slide Rider, 1969, and Tell Them Willie Boy is Here, 1969. Perhaps the most famous film of this period is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. The film, released in 1969 with Paul Newman in the title role, was a huge success and helped to finally consolidate Redford's status as a box office and very profitable Hollywood star. For his role in the movie Butch Cassidy, he won the British Academy Award for Film and Television. In 1973, Redford began a 4-year streak of box office success. His 1973 film, The Way We Were, became the number 11 highest-grossing film of 1973, and The Sting, 1973, became the number 1 highest-grossing film of 1974. The Bite also earned Redford his only Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. It was followed by such popular films as The Great Gatsby, 1974, The Great Walter Pepper, 1975, 3 Days of the Condor, 1975, and All the President's Men, 1976. In 1974 and 1976, Redford was voted by moviegoers as the highest-grossing star in Hollywood, and in 1975, 77, and 78, he won a Golden Globe Award for Favorite World Movie Star. This award, based on popularity, is no longer given. In addition to his acting career, Redford also worked as a director. The Ordinary People, 1980, is perhaps his best-known and most successful film as a director. He won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. Among the awards that Redford has received during his long and distinguished career are the National Medal of Arts in 1996, the Oscar for Lifetime Achievement in 2002, the Kennedy Center honor in 2005, the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, and others. Robert Redford's movie salary. One of Robert Redford's earliest known movie salaries was the $500 he received for the 1962 film War Hunt. In 1968, both Robert and Paul Newman earned $750,000 for their roles in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which was released in 1969. That's the same as earning about $6.5 million in today's dollars. As we detail in the next section of this article, in 1968, Robert Redford used all of his after-tax salary for the movie Butch Cassidy to buy the 3,000-acre resort town of Mount Timpanogos in Utah, where he already had a modest property. He purchased Timpanogos to prevent its sale to developers. After the success of the movie Butch Cassidy, Robert later renamed the town Sundance. Robert and Paul made $500,000 for the 1973 film The Bite. Today, that's about $3.5 million. He earned $2 million for the 1977 film A Bridge Too Far and $3.5 million for the 1979 film The Electric Horseman. Moving on to a more modern film career, Robert earned $4 million for his starring role in 1993's Indecent Proposal and a career-high base salary of $11 million for 2001's The Last Castle. Sundance Institute. Robert Redford first saw the area that would become a thriving Sundance community and empire decades later in the 1950s. At the time, he was driving across the country from California to return to University of Colorado. He took a wrong turn and ended up in Provo Canyon, Utah. Robert Redford bought his first property in Utah in 1961. 8 years before the release of Butch Cassidy. It was a modest A-frame cabin on 2 acres of land in a ski town called Timp Haven. The price of this property, $500. Timp Haven was named for the local Mount Timpanogos on which it was located. In 1968, Robert used the salary he had just received for his participation in the movie Butch Cassidy to buy the entire township of Timp Haven. He feared that the bucolic township would be swallowed up by developers and become a huge city. After the release of the movie Butch Cassidy, which was a huge hit, Redford renamed the whole town Sundance Mountain Resort. In 1978, the head of Redford's company, Wildwood Enterprises Incorporated, Sterling Van Wagenen, partnered with John Earl of the Utah Film Commission to found the Utah USA Film Festival. Their goal was to showcase American-made films, promote more independent films, and highlight the work of regional filmmakers working outside of Hollywood. The festival later became known as the Sundance Film Festival. Redford is the founder of the non-profit organizations Sundance Institute and Sundance Cinemas, as well as Sundance Channel and Sundance Productions. He previously owned a mail-order catalog business under the Sundance brand, but sold it for $40 million in 2004. And in December 2020, he sold the 2,600-acre Sundance Resort to a private investment group for an undisclosed sum. Personal life. Redford married Lola Van Wagenen in August 1958 in Las Vegas, Nevada. They had 4 children and divorced in 1985. In July 2009, Redford married his longtime partner, Sibyl Sagas, in Hamburg, Germany. Horse Whisper Ranch. Even after the sale of the Sundance Resort in 2020, the Robert family continues to own a 1,800-acre estate in the area. They also own 30 acres 30 minutes from Sundance called Whispering Horse Ranch, a reference to his 1998 movie Horse Whisperer. Robert bought the estate in 1996. He put it up for sale in June 2021 for $4.6 million. Other real estate. Outside of Utah, Robert Redford owns or has owned real estate in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and various parts of California. In May 2001, Robert sold an oceanfront property in Malibu for $6 million. At the same time, he sold an adjacent vacant lot to another buyer for $3 million. In 1997, Robert paid $3.7 million for a 2-level penthouse at 1030 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. In April 2001, he put that property up for sale for $15 million, and exactly 1 year later, he agreed to $10 million. In March 2002, he paid $6.5 million for a ski lodge in Aspen, Colorado. In 2004, Robert bought a 10-acre wine estate in Santa Helena, California. He put that estate up for sale in October 2018 for $7.5 million and agreed to $7 million just 3 months later, in January 2019. Robert Redford's old Porsche sold for $1.5 million. A 1964 Porsche 904 GTS race car once owned by Robert Redford, was sold at a Bonhams event in Paris Thursday night for $1,518,531. The green coupe was originally bought by racer and collector Stephen Earle, but quickly sold to Steve Burke, who raced it for a couple of years before selling it to Redford in 1966. Porsche sold the new cars for just over $7,000, the equivalent of about $63,000 today. Redford kept it up for nearly a decade before selling it, and the car changed hands several times, incidentally losing its original engine until its last owner bought it in 1982. It underwent a meticulous restoration in the 1990s and is still in excellent condition, but could be worth considerably more if the lost engine, believed to still exist, is returned, although its current whereabouts are unknown. A similar completely undamaged car was offered for sale in 2020 for $2,450,000. Share your opinion. Is it worth dropping out of school to go to work and make millions in the future?